Hey guys, SKNOVA here. I am back. I just actually moved houses this past week. So got a new place, had to get internet set up, get a computer set up. Everything is kind of running smoothly again. This is pretty awesome. Maybe I can even get a webcam going pretty soon. So all of this is pretty good. Time to keep making some videos again. I'm looking forward to this. And so this video will just kind of be a catch-up video, explaining what's been going on. This might be an exciting week because I feel like a patch is coming. I'm not totally sure. But the reason I feel like a patch is coming is one, it goes back here. They announced in the news, this is important news, we'll soon be releasing some stuff, get excited, you know, this just came out, I guess 2 days ago. So that's pretty cool. And the second reason why is if you look at the progress missions and where we're at, this is the final week of doable progress missions. So we got Spirit Keep, Magic Keep, Force Keep, and then Void Keep, and basically just have to clear them all 10 times on auto, which is no problem. This past week we had to do it all on stage 14, now we do it on stage 15. Last week we had to send a bunch of potions, which was very unfortunate for me because I forgot to do the Void one ahead of time, and so I ended up having to farm a ton of these greater Void potions, and I started off with about 50 some superior Void potions. I was farming stages 14 and 15, and I tried 8 all the way up to 14 to try to figure out the best one just to get the graders, but I kept getting superior Void potions from all the higher ones. I probably ended up getting more superior Void potions than I did greater Void potions. Some of you may have had this problem as well. So I ended up with an insane number of superior Void potions, more than I've never gotten a legendary Void hero. So maybe that's a good sign that things will change and I'll be able to use it on some. But otherwise I basically have a ton of superior potions, kind of all of them, because of all of this dungeon farming we've had to do lately. Anyways, besides the point, that was just a little bit frustrating thing that went on yesterday. Finished all the missions for today. Basically have to keep doing a bunch of the dungeons. And so this week, after we get past the clear the stage 15 of the Void Keep 10 times on auto and ascend a Void champion to level 6, hopefully it counts previous ones so you don't have to redo it. But if it does, I've prepared myself for that by leveling a bunch of food. And then the rest of them I've kind of already should be pretty quick to unlock. Gold 4, Great Help bonus to level 10. I'll show you that here. So I ended up doing that last week actually in preparation, and just kind of rounding them all off, making them all blue. I thought that was kind of a cool thing to do. Don't really have many Void heroes I'm using, but that was the last one to get leveled up. So that's pretty good as well. And let's go back in here. And so you see, kind of after you've done the Great Help bonus 10, and you do the 39 million damage to Nightmare difficulty, that's I think where it was before a patch or two ago, where you would have got Arbiter after 50 quests. The last 10 missions are all new content that's not in the game yet. Clear stage 17 of all of the dungeons, do 75 million damage to the boss. I don't know if that's in one day or if you can do it over multiple days. Doesn't totally say, but some people are saying it's probably one day. Then you gotta clear stage 20 of all these things, and you have to do 100 million. Don't know if that's in one day or multiple days. So essentially, there's no gating on these guys. Basically, as soon as you can do them, you can finish it. I mean, maybe the gating is the clan boss might not have enough health for you to do it all in one day. So that might be it. Maybe that requires some guild coordination. But for the most part, there's nothing stopping you. There's no dungeons that are only open on certain days to prevent you from finishing this. So I'm thinking that the patch will probably be this week, because by Sunday, most people will be done all the way up until the point where you can't do it anymore, stage 17. I know people are freaking out about it on the forums, and they're why would you ever make a patch that you can't, or missions that you can't complete? It's not the first time. But I'm looking optimistically and saying, hey, this probably means new content's coming, expect higher stages. The other thing we're not sure about is, because we're doing higher stages now, up to 20 at least, do we get 6-star gear? Now, theoretically, we don't know how hard the scaling will be, but if you compare the scaling from, say, stage 10 to stage 15, to go from 15 to 20, I think it'd be very difficult, even with super top tier teams, to finish stage 20 on auto with the current gear set. So I'm thinking it's also highly likely that we will see 6-star items, potentially from the higher stages. So you have to start farming stage 16, 17, 18, whatever you can get to get some 6-star drops to upgrade your characters to do the higher tiers. So that alone might be enough to sort of delay people from getting Arbiter for a period of time. But I mean, as soon as it's farmable, people will be all over it, and I'm sure within a day, maybe 2 at the most, people will start getting Arbiter. And not that's going to change the face of Arena right now, because Arena is still pretty simple. But it's going to start making some people a little bit stronger than others. Arbiter is just such a good hero for Arena, and very useful in some of the dungeons and stuff as well. But her aura, her speed boost, attack boost, basically it makes all the other speed boost characters useless. The only character with a higher aura is Lord Shazar. It's only by 2%, which can probably be outweighed by gear. The gear grind will be very interesting too, because it basically is like starting over for people. I mean, you need the gear to get to this point. Depending if they release a new campaign, 6-star gear, a Nightmare campaign, where it is in the dungeons. If you get it from Arena chest, that's all going to be very interesting. And then also potentially, are they going to release a new tier, a Super Nightmare boss? That could be possible as well, because now that we're doing more damage, it's not going to be fun if you're doing 50 or 60 million damage a key, and you only get 10 people to attack the Nightmare boss and it's dead. You kind of need the next level, so I can see that happening as well potentially. So a lot could happen. There could be more heroes. There could be more shards. There could be another tier of Arena. So Arena could start going a little bit higher again, which would make farming some of the tokens a little bit better. I've heard rumors that there could be a Platinum tier, and then maybe you're getting, I guess, 5, 6, 7, 8 tokens per win. That would be fantastic. They kind of need to keep pushing the tiers up, like most games with some PvP in them. Just the large number of people in all the tiers kind of dilutes the challenge at the top tiers, because there's so many people that get points. And it is always farmable, and everybody technically could be in gold 4 at some point. Maybe not easy. You'd lose some points on defense, but if you farm it enough, you can keep farming the slightly weaker teams, or the ones you can beat. And anyways, I digress. So lots of stuff potentially coming. The events keep changing. They've completed pretty much every single event since they first came out, minus a couple of the artifact events early on, and maybe one of the arena events when it was 3,000. But I did complete one of them when it was 3,000 as well. So yeah, lots of stuff happening. Let's go over my champions quick. I guess we had a summoning event a few days ago. I pulled 2 new legendaries, Elenarl and Norog. I think they both have some sort of niche uses. So I'll talk about a little bit more for the people that may have them. Elenarl basically has an A1 burn, which cannot be resisted. So I don't think that means she doesn't have to have accuracy at all. It just means that ability will always hit. The problem with that one is that burn is only a 1 debuff ability, so you can't use it with another character with burn, and her burn will refresh the current burn but won't add a new burn. So it's not as powerful as if you could put an HP burn on every single one of her turns. That would be insane. She does have a poison debuff that she can put on all enemies. So currently there's no dungeons that really require that, but if they happen to make a new clan boss, for example with multiple bosses, and you can put poison on both of them, then this could be very good. I mean, you can get two poison debuffs on a boss. But a real claim to fame is this ability, Combust, which does all the damage from all the poison debuffs instantly. So, I mean, there is a current 10 debuff limit on the boss. That kind of prevents you from stacking too many people with poison on your team. You start hitting the debuff limit, but Elenarl will basically like pull all the poisons off, then you can reapply them all, making that very interesting. But I think the debuff limit would still have to be higher than 10 to make this useful. because you still want to have your other buffs on the boss, like attack down, defense down, potentially weaken, although those two don't affect poison damage anymore. You're going to get some random stuff on there, like you might have a character with heal reduction. That might get tossed on there as well. So all those things kind of like add to the buff count. And then the rest can be poisons and HP burn. But it's terrible when you have the clan boss maxed out and you need to get that attack down or defense down on the boss, and you use it and it doesn't apply because you're already at the debuff limit. So that would be a huge waste of that ability. And it's kind of artificial limit, so I've read or heard that they might be changing that. That may not be as intended to only have 10 debuffs. So that change could be good. And in that case, Alanaro will be much better. Norog, I thought was also interesting. I've seen him on a few high tier arena teams. He is very defensive. He has an ability that reduces the damage taken from allies. Now, if you put this on your bursty type team, A, he's not as high damage as some other characters, so that's taken away from your bursty team. And 2, the 15% decreased damage probably isn't enough to prevent death in many cases. Like the damage output from people is just so high compared to the health and defense that if you can hit somebody for 60 to 80k and they only have 40 to 50k health, even reducing that by 15% isn't enough to prevent them from dying. So it's not quite enough, but it does work if you have a very, very tanky team with high defense, and this reduces the damage even more. And you have a counterattack character like Martyr. You have a War Chief in there. Those kind of teams could be very powerful. So I think he could be useful in the right situation. It's just that in most cases, he's not that powerful by himself. And he doesn't work in my current arena team, which is very bursty. So potential for work in the future. He does have the block debuffs, A2. This is very good for sort of Rosh Guard teams, or counterattack teams, or any teams that rely on their buffs. So, attack up, and I guess counterattack is a huge one, and then the unkillable, say from Sir Nicholas, or the reduced or no damage taken buff. Oh, I can't remember what it's called exactly, the one that Rosh Guard puts on, so you don't take any damage. This blocks all of those. So that could be super amazing on its own. And if you are struggling with those bosses and you pull a Norog, there you go. You have a solution for it. I was actually looking for something similar from this guy here, Warcaster, I think he's called. So he has only a 50% chance to put it on, so Norog is better, so instant replacement there. And he has the block damage buff. That's what Rosh Guard has as well. But it's only for one turn, which is kind of problematic because it's very hard to ensure that. I mean, he could be a slowest one on your team as long as he goes before the enemies. He puts a block damage buff on. It's only one turn, so it's kind of hard to use multiple times. It's not as good as Rosh Guard, which is a 2-turn. But he also has a buff steal. He kind of has a cool package of abilities, but it's really kind of for the block buffs debuff. So I had him leveled to 50. I was contemplating leveling him to 60 and starting him up. I think he still could be a useful team, or a useful team in certain situations, team member. But then Norog is just better at applying the block buffs because it's not a 50% chance. This one, 50% of the time, no matter what, you kind of just fail. You get to skill them up to 75% chance, but still leaves room for error. Not taking the accuracy resistance into account, but Norog just puts it on there. So if the teams rely on the block damage buff from getting on, and you can block that is huge. So that's basically the Rosh Guard counter. So for that thing is cool. So I will probably level him to 60 and star him up. The reason I have Elnarl at 6 stars and Aothar at 6 stars not ascended yet is because I'm still worried about this progress mission today where you have to ascend a champion to level 6. So once I find out if that is auto-completed, having already done that, or if you have to do it live, which people are going to complain like crazy if that's the case, then I'll know which characters I can level up. I have a few champions worth of food. I leveled those two up, Elnarl and Aothar. I also have the 10 rare characters in the middle here, all leveled up for food. They're all duplicates of one I already have, and realistically I don't think I need, with all the epics, don't really need to have any special rares that I know of, but I do have spares of those already. Still recommend keeping them for Faction Wars. Still kind of working on a plan for that, and I might even do a video on my sort of pseudo planning for Faction Wars. It's really hard to plan for something that you don't know how it's going to work. But you can kind of go through your tier list and see, okay, well I don't have a ton of, say, Bannerlord characters, so the ones I do have, would they be good for an arena type match, which I'm thinking Faction Wars might be. It just feels like you might be fighting other hero characters that are susceptible to CC. So stuff like stuns and sleeps and freezes and all that kind of stuff might be very powerful, as opposed to the boss type mechanics where they're immune to all that stuff. And it could be really cool if you go through like a series of these arena type matches, making the CC type characters much better, because currently in a lot of content they're not very useful. So some factions like High Elves, I'm like, oh well, I probably have really good heroes already. I have a couple Legendaries, I have a bunch of epics. That one, probably not so bad, but the ones where I have very few, no Legendaries, and only a couple of the epics, I have to think about which rares could I potentially use if it's a team of 4 or 5 that I have to fill out. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, maybe a future video, if that is interesting, but this is kind of just a status update to say, hey, I'm still around, I'm back. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. Life has been busy, the game has been busy, and I've mostly been playing the game and not able to make videos because of the whole move, but hopefully the video making increases. So we'll see you guys in the next one.